Alright, now that we have a set of repository classes, I believe it's a good time to introduce unit testing. Remember, unit testing is different compared to integration testing. The unit testing deals with a module like category, while integration deals with a set of modules like catalog. For example, an order module interacting with the inventory module. Before we start creating our test, I would like to check the following points. Load database. This class should not load or save the categories by commenting the init database method. Set the application.properties to use PostgreSQL. To make the development and testing easier when switching database, we will be introducing a new Maven profile. Notice that we created a new development test profile which contains the H2 dependency, whereas the default profile development contains all the PostgreSQL specific dependencies as well as Liquibase. Creating our very first test. As a default, we will have the context loads test. What's with the annotations? At run with Spring Runner class. It is a bridge between JUnit and Spring. It enables us to use Spring features inside JUnit tests. Spring Runner provides support for loading the application context and enable auto-wiring. Next, Spring Boot test. Auto-configures the application context by loading the default configuration from the class annotated with at Spring Boot application when it is not annotated with configuration modifiers like enable JPA repositories, at entity scan, at component scan, at context configuration. Have a look at this class, how it overrides the configuration. Then we have the test property source. Instead of using the application.properties file in the main folder, we will be overriding it with an H2 specific configuration. Finally, it's now time to present our very first repository unit test for the category. Again, we have the Run with Spring Runner class. Expect this in all your test classes. At data JPA test, normally used for a JPA specific test, it auto-configures our data source and entity manager based on the property source which we specified before in our application-integration.properties file. At their TS context, it's possible for us to modify the state of our database, and it's possible that we will need to set up its initial content every test. Then, it's better to supply a new context before the method. Otherwise, since we are in read-only mode, just remove this annotation. Now it's time to execute our test. Note that you need Maven to run it. Here's the configuration. We are using the development-test profile, and obviously the goals is test. Let's run it. As we can see, all of our tests were successfully executed. We have no failures. And that's it for this video. Next, we will start creating our REST API. See you in our next video. Jane!